So we welcome Charlie Lawson, one of the most recognisable and toughest characters to ever grace Coronation Street. Living legend, the icon, aka Jim McDonald.
Nice to see you.
How are you, Charlie?
I'm good, thanks.
You good?
How are you?
Very good. Nice to see you. How did you get the job on Coronation Street, and when was it?
Well, I was first asked in 1987. I was at the National Theatre, and to be frank with you, I wasn't interested. I was a bit po-faced about the whole thing, as a lot of actors were in those days. I just thought, fuck that. I mean, I'm at the National Theatre here, love. I don't need to go and do some weird Mancunian bollocks. That's just the way, whereas people bite your arm off now, you know what I mean? I had an interview with James Bain, God rest his soul, and Mervyn, the producer. And they, after a lengthy lunch, what have you, which was rather jolly, they offered me a 2-year contract. Okay. Just like that. So at the very same week, I'd just been offered a full-time contract with the Bill.
Oh, the Bill, I remember that show, yeah.
So it was one of those moments in your career when something, never rains but it pours, but and I was well up for the Bill actually, because I didn't know anything about the street. I'd never watched it. You hadn't a clue what it was about. It was some weird northern thing.
Still is.
Yeah. And so anyway, the money was better. They offered me more money, so I decided, my agent was a big fan, so he said, just go north.
So you wasn't ever a fan of Coronation Street before
No,
you got seen it. Before you never seen it?
No.
No way, that surprises me. That surprises me. So you didn't chase the job down, you didn't pursue it, it sort of came to you.
No, I couldn't have told you what. If you'd said to me Weatherfield, I wouldn't have known where I known about it. I'd never seen it.
What would you say are your best ever storyline?
I suppose the best one was the wheelchair stuff, because any actor who tells you he doesn't like being in a wheelchair is bullshitting you. You know, is
that because you get rolled around and stuff?
No. It's just you can be angry, bitter, and twisted, and he was angry, bitter, and twisted, and drank a lot. And I watched 2 or 3 scenes that Jim had with Maud Grimes, played by Elizabeth Bradley.
Oh yeah.
And there's some of the best stuff on television.
Yeah.
And I remember we did 2 scenes back to back, and a big emotional scenes, and at the end Liz said, you won't get any better than that, and I said print it, so they just cut it and printed it, one take.
Who were your favourite actors to work with on Coronation Street?
I loved working with Elizabeth Bradley. I loved working with Bev, obviously. That goes without saying.
What about Simon?
Yeah, Simon's great. The trouble with Simon now is that we laugh an awful lot, you know what I mean? And Simon...
He would be laughing.
Well, we used to make each other laugh.
Oh, so you try and corpse each other?
But he's very... I like working with Simon because I can push his buttons, and...
Simon played Stephen, yeah? Steve McDonald, just for anyone who isn't sure.
Simon would be the first to admit, he sometimes takes the easy way out.
Right.
But if you push him and say, just go for this and do it that, play against the way it's written or whatever. We did one scene together, and Jim had whacked one of Liz's, I think it was Liz's fiance actually, and Jim whacked him and then whacked the best man, and Simon came out, as Steve McDonald to sort of tell Jim to go away.
Right.
And I says to Simon, you're not fucking getting away with that, son. Do it properly, do it for real. Yeah. Anyway, he did, and he was brilliant, very good. Showed a side of the character Steve McDonald that we hadn't really seen. Okay. So if you push the right buttons, you'll get a performance out of him, because he's very good. He's shit hot. Who
was the most professional actor that you've ever worked with on Coronation Street?
Without question, Bev.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Although she was well up for a gag. I mean, I could make her laugh, But so we did have a lot of laughs, but she was extremely professional because she had to work with me, and I tend to do it from instinct, and therefore every take's different.
Right. Okay.
And also because it was written in Mancunian, I had permission to jizz it up a bit and make it Northern Irish.
Jizz it up a bit.
So she didn't really know what was coming.
Yeah.
And excuse the pun.
Double pun.
And
keep that.
But she, but she worked in a very, very different way, very methodical, and she was verbatim, and everything was delivered the same way. But she could react and change to my way of working.
Right, yeah,
So
yeah.
she was extremely professional in that sense. But don't get me wrong. I mean, she once she started laughing, you couldn't get her to stop.
I can imagine that. Did you enjoy being the street hard man? Did you thrive off that?
Yeah. Well, I was very fucking good at it.
Did you realise how big the role of Jim was going to be at the time?
No, we had no idea, and I certainly, Bev did, because she watched the show, so she knew all about it. I had a great advantage as well, that I didn't know anybody. So when I was told I couldn't sit there because it was Julie Goodyear's chair, I said,
that didn't bother you?
Fucking behave yourself. Nobody's sitting here, I'm sitting there.
She can move somewhere else.
Well, there was no labels on the chairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there was all that sort of stuff, but no, I had no idea, because as I said, I didn't know anything about it. And in those days, in 1989, I mean, there was only 4 channels.
Yeah, we were saying that.
So we were getting between 16 and 20 million viewers all the time. So within a year, well, I suppose, within a year, when they were starting to write for the McDonald's, and then it became one of the big families, and the kids were like Kylie and Jason. I'm not saying which was which, but they were the first sort of young soap celebrity stars.
Yeah.
Because the top shelf in those days was, when we started, it was like Men Only, Mayfair, and fucking Penthouse and what have you, and then you get Woman's Own, TV Times, the Radio Times, and Gardener's Work. You know, that was about the size of it. Whereas now it's I'm a Celebrity, Mow My Lawn, and it's wall to wall.
How did you deal with the fame? Did you enjoy the fame? Did you ever get sort of followed outside the set? Did you ever get packed?
No, I lapped it up.
A meal?
I lapped it up.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I mean, it's common knowledge that I had several fallouts with photographers and what have you, but I wasn't, bothered about that. And they got told if they were out of line, they got told.
Is there any on-screen partnerships? Not necessarily husband and wife, or maybe a father and daughter, maybe, like Sophie and Rosie Webster, Tyrone and Fizz. Any famous partnerships that have a really great sort of relationship on film that couldn't stand each other in real life?
Well, I mean, Liz Dawn and Lynn Perry didn't get on at all,
Remind me who Lynn Perry played.
Lynn Perry played Ivy.
Oh, right, okay.
And Liz played Vera.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't get on at all.
Which actors who have sadly passed do you miss the most?
I suppose from the street, I was very sad when Pete died, Pete Armitage. Because we were good buddies, but it's sure sad when everybody dies. I mean, I was just thinking about Johnny Briggs there, funny enough.
Oh, Johnny Briggs.
Briggsy died last year, I think, I mean, we fell out and then, made up in the end, you know what I mean? But sure, it's sad when anybody dies, really, because you work with them closely on Corrie, you know what I mean?
Johnny Briggs is Mike Baldwin, for anyone unfamiliar. How many times have you been back?
I think it's 9. It's certainly 7 or 8 or something.
Must be some kind of record, that.
Well, I'm told by somebody who's apparently an expert in these things that I think I'm in front of Chris Gascoigne.
Peter Barlow?
Yeah, as the most returned actor playing the same role in a soap.
What was the green room like back in the 90s?
Mental.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
Absolutely fucking mental.
Did you have a little drink in there?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of everything.
I bet you couldn't do that these days.
No, you couldn't. Everybody.
But it's Volvic water. All the brands are available.
Certainly couldn't. But no, there was a lot of partying. It was politically incorrect, off the Richter scale, and I include Sarah Lancashire, I include Annie Kirkbride, Eva, all the girls, gave as good as they got. It was, but if you had, written about the book, if you saw what went on then, we would all be struck off. Some of us would be locked up, and the snowflakes and wokery fuckwits out there would just faint, because it was the most blue, rude, place on the planet.
So an all-round
But when
good,
you're
good
sitting-
atmosphere.
Yeah, when you're sitting on your arse all day waiting to do scenes and you're in all day,
Yeah.
you're all in the green room together and it gets very hairy. I mean,
No,
some of the cast got a bit funny about it, used to report us, but
No.
that was only one or two.
What actually is the beer in the Rovers? What actually is it?
It was Bass Shandy. There was a deal struck and we got Guinness, real Guinness.
Oh, very nice.
And of course, the preceding or the following sort of month or 6 weeks, then there was a lot of people getting pished in the crew and in the cast. And so after a number of funny Friday afternoons when we used to film the Rover scenes all day, it was decided that the only two people, well, Billy Tarmy was allowed to drink it because he was Billy T.
Billy T.
Yeah, who played Jack Duckworth. And the only legitimate person to drink Guinness was me.
Nice.
So I enjoyed my Thursdays and Fridays, which were so Mondays would be sort of on location filming. Sunday and Monday would be location filming. Tuesdays and Wednesday mornings rehearsals, and then we'd shoot on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah.
So Thursdays and Fridays were always reserved for the Rover scenes, of which there were always many.
Oh, right. So you reserve days for certain locations?
Well, yeah.
Certain sets?
Yeah, and so I never went without a real drink in all my time in the Rovers.
That's
The props
hilarious.
guys were always dropping a wee tin of Stella down in front of me. Always.
Well, I suppose it adds to the vibe of the Rovers, you know, a little bit.
I mean, you didn't get pissed if you had a major scene, but
Yeah.
certainly in the Rovers, if you're standing around all Friday afternoon saying "Pint of lager, please, Jack," then it'd be rude not to. So,
What's your favourite memory of all time from Coronation Street?
yeah, I don't remember 4 or 5 years being there because it was just on the Raz. But I was never late and I never messed up or anything like that. But Philip and I burned our way through Manchester pretty successfully. So I have a lot of great memories of the social life.
Okay.
Really, primarily.
So the things that came from the show, not
Yeah, I mean,
necessarily.
the crack was mighty. And I mean, in those heady days in the 90s, Manchester's always been very good to its own. I was telling this David Holmes on his breakfast show that because we had United and City, we had Take That, we had all the stuff in the early 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oasis,
I was going to say Oasis were blooming, weren't they?
Yeah, they were my bag. But I mean, the Manchester's very proud of its own. So we were. It wasn't uncommon for all that lot to be together at a do, you know, at the Midland Hotel or something, and we thought nothing of it because we were all in the same boat.
Yeah.
You know, we were all famous and we were all doing our own thing.
Any Stone Roses knocking around as well?
Yeah, I had a couple of. I've had some nights out.
Great band.
With Bez and all that crew. That's a different band, but whatever.
Happy Mondays, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we used to knock about with Lisa Stansfield and
no
clubs and whatever. Yeah, but there was nothing. Didn't make you special.
Yeah.
Because we were as famous as they were, and they were as chuffed to meet us as we were to meet them.
Right.
Because they'd grown up watching the street and stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Some of them like Take That were only wee lads.
Yeah. So they were looking up to you.
They thought the McDonald's were the business, you know.
Yeah, the McDonald's are the business.
And yeah, so but it was common. It was very common for all of us to be together, but it didn't make me special because they were just as special, vice versa.
Yeah. I understand what you mean. You know some of your catchphrases that you had. So like, what about you? Things like that, and there's a few more. Were they written or did you make them up? Did they just come out? Did they just?
No, I mean because
free
the
flow?
writers had no idea, so they were 4 months ahead or whatever, and they had no idea that this fucking hairy Northern Irishman was gonna turn up in the street.
Yeah.
So all that stuff was in Mancunian.
Yeah.
So it didn't make any sense coming out of my.
Oh, you mean the dialogue was in?
Yeah, of course it was.
Of
So.
course.
So I had to sort of take the bull by the horns after about 2 or 3 episodes and say, like, you know,
Give it a little tweak.
yeah. So Jim doesn't say good morning. You know, he said, "What about you?"
Yeah.
Or he'd say, you know, you're whatever it may be.
So it is.
So it is, or so you are, whatever. But I mean, Eamon Holmes has been saying that for years. It was nothing, people used to jump on it and say, "My God, where's that from?" Well, we've been saying that in Northern Ireland for hundreds of years, so we have.
You just use your offense.
We do it all the time, so we do.
You just used your authentic you speak.
Authentic, so it is.
So it is, to be sure.
So, no, that's from the other side of the border.
Have you ever been offered any work on any other soaps?
I think the character's too strong. I think I was asked to do something in Hollyoaks many years ago as a guest for, but I don't remember. But I did do Doctors, which I suppose you would say would be a soap or a long-running drama serial.
Did you ever feel typecast at any point?
I've always played the same sort of, I'm not going to be cast as, and I have nothing against gay vicars, but I'm simply not going to be cast as a gay vicar. I mean, I spent fucking years doing all this fucking bollocks.
You got that down to a T.
Well, I fucking hope so, aren't I? But I had
sweetheart.
I had to do all that. I had to walk into every audition, every interview and bullshit.
Yeah.
And then at the end,
Fake
I'd
it,
say,
make it.
well, very, very nice to see you, and I'd get up and say cheerio. But so typecast, but sure, everybody's tarred with the same brush, I suppose.
Talking about the return back to Coronation Street, well, the 7, 8, 9,
Whatever.
10, 11, however many it is. Do you always enjoy getting that phone call to go back?
It's never going to be a dull storyline. You're not
Never,
going to have
never.
McDonald back to just say pint of lager, please, or whatever. You know what I mean?
It's coming back for some hard
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, recently, I know for a fact that the writing teams, of course, they've changed and what have you, and there are different sorts of people writing the show now over the last few years, and that's just the nature of the beast. I always enjoy going back, of course I do, but whether I would go back to kill the character, I don't know. It would cost them a friggin' fortune, that's for sure.
Would you go back full time?
Yeah.
We'd love to see. Do you know what? I think if there was a poll put out there, would you like to see Jim McDonald go back full time? I think it would skyrocket. I really do.
Yeah, it kind of didn't work that way. I wish it did, but
It'd be great to see you on it again. I'd probably watch it again.
But the point is, I totally get. We have been forced into living this stupid bloody woke bollocks for the last 3 years. The writers are affected by all this stuff as well. So I totally understand the argument, well, where would we put him?
Yeah.
Because Jim might be aware of what LGBT means, but if you asked him about trans, or if you asked him about the 126 genders there are meant to be, he'd tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
So where are you going to put him?
That is so true. I never thought about it like that.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Jim was not politically correct, especially not for 2022.
And you have to be politically correct these days,
And
don't you?
you can't have him, I would say, if you cut his balls off, there's no point in having him back.
Absolutely. No. You wouldn't want a if you get Jim back,
he's got to be Jim McDonald.
He's got to be Jim.
He's not Charlie Lawson. I've got plenty of friends that are whatever, and as far as I'm concerned, they can identify as a plant pot. It doesn't bother me if they're decent people. That's fine.
But Jim.
Jim. Well, fucking Jim. He comes from D Street in Belfast.
Yeah.
Have
you got any regrets in life, Charlie?
I try not to have. I regret deeply the split with Leslie and and I regret deeply the relationship, and I regret deeply her addiction to prescription drugs. But it's not a sort of a regret that is my fault. It wasn't my fault, but I do regret it because she was the love of my life until
and then
led you
to Debbie. So.
Regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention.
What's that off now?
That's all.
Too
my way.
To men. Yeah. All blue eyes.
So I try not to, because I try to live to this, whatever you'd like to call it, and it's a simple quote: "Above all else, to thine own self be true."
Yeah, I like that.
And I've always lived by that code, and I've always been able to look in the mirror and live by that line. And yesterday's gone, tomorrow ain't happened yet, and so you live for today.
Very good mantra indeed. What's your favourite TV show of all time?
God. I'll tell you the one recently I loved. The first series of Gentleman Jack was absolutely staggeringly brilliant.
Is that on?
Saran Jones.
Oh, she's brilliant.
Written by Sally Wainwright, who wrote for me in Corrie. She started off in Corrie.
All right, brilliant.
And she wrote Gentleman Jack. And the first series, second series is never as good, and it wasn't as good. But the first series, and that's about 2 years ago, that was brilliant.
And if you were an actor, what do you reckon you would have been?
Soldier.
Soldier. So,
Or in trouble.
as Jim McDonald.
Yeah,
So
if I would have either gotten into trouble. Well, I did get into trouble, but I got out of it. I was very lucky. But I had decided that because I was the only person in my family, apart from my sister, my mother had served, my father, my uncles, all had served in the Second World War.
Yeah.
And I hadn't. Well, there was no war to serve in, so to speak, but. I think I probably had made a decision before drama school came up that that's what I was going to end up doing. And if I hadn't got into drama school, fuck knows, I'd have been in trouble somewhere.
If you could act with one actor, alongside one actor, dead or alive, past or present, anywhere in the world, Hollywood, UK, who'd it be?
I thought the greatest screen actor of all time was James Stewart.
Favourite film of all time? Got to be a favourite film, Charlie.
Yeah, I watched them the other day.
You can have a couple.
I love True Grit and I love Where Eagles Dare.
Yeah.
And that they are not what you wanted to hear. Because I ain't a lovey. I ain't going to say Henry the fucking Fifth with Olivia.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day. That's my...
No, Aliens 2, Aliens.
Yeah.
The second, they're not...
Who's your favourite band or artist? What sort of music do you like? Who could you
Without
listen to all day?
question, Frank Sinatra in front of Nelson Riddle.
All Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
Do you like that sort of Brat Packy era?
No, I like him on his own when he was swinging. Brat Pack didn't really do it for me, although they had great fun. It was a great TV show.
Anyone from the Manchester scene that you like? The Manchester, because obviously you said before about
Not really. No, I met.
not a fan of Oasis.
Well, no, I met one of them once. And,
Which one? I met one too.
Yeah, well, he hates to remain there. So he was a fucking pain in the arse. But that's fine. He was young and was getting paid to be a pain in the arse. So
Yeah.
he was very good at
What's your biggest fear in life, Charlie?
heights.
Same. The exact same.
I have
Terrifying.
nightmares about. Well, but I will go up. I will go on the roof and I will keep doing it. But I don't fucking like it.
Do you know what I'm gonna say? Are you okay on a plane? Because I'm fine on a plane.
Yeah, I'm fine on a plane.
Because I feel safety. You feel like you've got a safety
I'm
net.
fine. I was on the roof the other day putting the flag up for the 12th of July. So I don't want to go up there.
Yeah.
But I will.
Yeah.
But I have nightmares. Some people will tell you it's because I'm gay. And that's what a psychiatrist told me.
What about being scared of heights?
Yeah.
I'm not really scared of heights, by the way.
No, well, I am, but I promise you, I'm heterosexual. But no, somebody told me that years and years ago.
That's bollocks.
Well, of course it's bollocks, but
Maybe the psychiatrist is gay.
Could be.
You're trying to pass the
But
book.
I have height dreams on a regular basis, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and I wake up in a complete state.
No way. So could you go? Have you been on like the big one?
I never fall. It's always in the dream. I'm always about to. It's on a structure.
Yeah.
It's deeply unsafe.
Have you been on the big one at like Blackpool? You know them going up, that going up, like.
Yeah.
That's the worst bit. Right, Charlie, I have got a mini quiz. Do you know how many appearances you've made on Coronation Street up until your last one?
Absolutely no idea.
Give me a guess.
1,500?
Not too far off. 1,168 appearances.
There you are.
In the ballpark. Now, you're in the top 100 characters of all time in Coronation Street for the most appearances. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
Now, have a stab at where you feature in the list. So you're in the top 100 all-time appearances. Where do you think you feature?
Is it sort of like popularity stakes?
It's
or appearances.
Appearances again.
Oh.
So it's.
I've got.
So you're 1,168.
Okay.
Where does that rank?
I did 11 years. I was fairly busy, and then I came back 7 or 8 times. I've got to be near the bottom of it, though. I've got to be in the 70s or something. I don't know. I've absolutely no idea.
52nd.
Oh, 50, halfway.
So, Jim McDonald, well, more, Charlie Lawson is the 52nd most paid actor in the history of Coronation Street.
That'll do.
That's an exclusive right there for you.
That'll do.
Here's another one. So, there's dozens and dozens of polls out there on YouTube, internet, on all the archives and all over the internet about the top 10 hard men of Coronation Street. They're absolutely everywhere, okay? Right. Now, I've had a look into about 20 of these polls and I've got an average of where you appear. So, do you think it's first, fourth, fifth, or seventh in the top 10 hard men of all time Coronation Street?
Of all time.
Don't be
you have me at
modest.
a disadvantage because I didn't really watch it, but I'm reliably informed, and I can't see anybody taking on Jim McDonald. Somebody said to me there was a character from Liverpool in it a couple of years ago, and
I think I texted you one from Emmerdale, and I was like, bollocks.
But somebody said Jim would have fucking ripped his balls off.
Absolutely. Well,
but so I've no idea. Fourth.
Being modest there, I'm pleased to tell you it's number 1.
Oh, really?
On pretty much every single poll out there. Now I've got my very last question for you.
Yeah, because I want my supper.
I'm getting a bit peckish. Now this is a very, very, very serious question. Okay. Okay. So, if Saltland was a reality, okay, who would win in a fight? A fist fight between Jim McDonald, Grant Mitchell from EastEnders, the bald one, played by
Ross
Kemp, Kane Dingle, or Hayley Cropper?
Well, I know this. I know Debbie watches Emmerdale. She loves Emmerdale, and I met the boy who plays Kane Dingle. He's a very, very nice chap. And he wouldn't live with Jim for more than about a minute.
Jim would fuck him up.
Yes,
absolutely.
The character who does Ross play? In
Grant. He plays Grant Mitchell, the brother
he would probably give. He's an ex-soldier.
Yeah.
He was an ex-para, so he'd probably give Jim a run for his money. But then he's probably Jim's probably giving him 20 years or something. You know.
So not Hayley Cropper then.
Yeah.
Charlie, it's been absolutely amazing talking to you as always.
Thanks, sir. Thank you
very much.